Welcome to Echoes of the Unknown, the podcast where we'll be exploring some of the world's most fascinating unsolved mysteries. I'm Jack Montgomery, and today we're traveling to the heart of America's Dairyland, where a quiet road in rural Wisconsin has become infamous for sightings, stretching back decades, of a strange creature known as the Beast of Bray Road. The entity has become one of America's most enduring cryptid stories, and dozens of eyewitness accounts have spawned regional folklore that persists to this day. Bray Road is an ordinary stretch of a paved rural farm road outside the city of Elkhorn in Walworth County. Located in southeast Wisconsin, just 40 miles from Milwaukee, the road winds past cornfields, barns, and patches of dense woodland. Over the past 9 decades, it has become anything but ordinary. According to testimony by dozens of people, a mysterious creature, categorized as a cryptid, has haunted the region. A cryptid is a creature or animal that some people believe exists, based on anecdotal evidence, folklore, travelers' tales, or local eyewitness accounts, but whose existence has not been proven by mainstream science. Reported sightings are either unsubstantiated, unverified, or at least disputed, and such creatures are not recognized by the scientific community as a real species. Well-known examples of cryptids include Bigfoot, the Chupacabra, and the Loch Ness Monster. The first widely publicized encounter with one such creature occurred in Elkhorn on Halloween night, October 31st, 1991. While driving along Bray Road, a woman named Doris Gibson said she felt her car, a blue Plymouth Sundance, hit something. She stopped and got out to see what it was, thinking she might have struck an animal. As she looked around, she claims that she saw a large, furry creature with wolf-like features running toward her. She described it as being around 6 feet tall, covered in dark hair or fur. The most unsettling detail was that it walked upright on 2 legs, displaying an unnervingly human-like posture. Terrified, she ran back to her car and sped away. Later on, Gibson noticed scratch marks on the back of the trunk, which she believed were left by the creature as it tried to grab or strike her vehicle. A local newspaper, the Walworth County Week, assigned reporter Linda Godfrey to cover the story. She authored a pivotal newspaper article titled "Tracking Down the Beast of Bray Road," which was published on December 29, 1991. However, this wasn't the end of her reporting. She followed up with multiple feature articles and columns in the newspaper over subsequent weeks, interviewing dozens of eyewitnesses, exploring local lore, and uncovering reports filed by animal control, such as a file labeled werewolf. She emphasized gathering first-hand accounts, many of which came from reluctant locals who described seeing a large, upright, wolf-like creature. That series of investigative pieces together formed the foundation for Godfrey's best-selling cryptozoology book, published in 2003, titled The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolf. Godfrey's articles revealed that sightings of the mysterious creature actually stretch back to the 1930s. Many of these eyewitnesses were reluctant to come forward publicly, fearing ridicule or damage to their reputation in a close-knit, conservative farming community. They weren't attention-seeking teenagers or unreliable sources. Instead, they were credible, everyday people who were respected community members. Witnesses included school teachers, office workers, churchgoers, dairy and cattle farmers, and a school bus driver. As Godfrey stated in a later interview, "I spoke with dozens of eyewitnesses, many of them sober-grounded people, who had nothing to gain and much to lose by coming forward." She was initially skeptical, but later became convinced of the sincerity of the witnesses. Although the creature is sometimes called a werewolf in local folklore, cryptozoologists have labeled it as a cryptid canine in order to avoid dealing with the scientific absurdities involved with werewolves. It has often been described by eyewitnesses as being between 6 feet and 7 feet tall, muscular, with a humanoid-style body, covered in fur or hair, and with a head with wolf-like features. It was usually seen as bipedal, in other words, walking upright on two legs. Multiple witnesses commented on the creature's red or amber eyes that seemed to glow in the darkness. These consistent details across independent sightings have puzzled investigators and researchers for decades. While eyewitness reports span nearly a century, from the 1930s through the early 2000s, most occurred during a burst of activity in the late 1980s to early 1990s. There were several dozen documented or publicized incidents in all. The total number of reported sightings of the Beast of Bray Road is not precisely known, as most accounts are based on local folklore, anecdotal witness statements, and compilations by cryptid researchers, not official logs. The legend blends confirmed stories with the possibility of hoaxes and embellishment. Let's review just a few of these incidents. The first known reported sighting of the creature took place on 2 consecutive nights in 1936 on the grounds of St. Coletta School for Exceptional Children in rural Jefferson, Wisconsin, around 27 miles northeast of Elkhorn. That's where a night watchman, Mark Shackleman, witnessed it digging on an Indian burial mound located on the property. In a much later incident that occurred late one fall night in 1989, at around 1:30 a.m., Lori Andrissi was driving home on Bray Road when she allegedly noticed a figure on the side of the road. Although it was facing away from her, she could see what she described as pointed ears. As she kept driving, she was able to see the front of the figure, which she said had dark, brownish gray fur. The creature was kneeling and she could see its large claws, which appeared to be holding a chunk of roadkill. She estimated it to be the size of an average human, around 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing roughly 150 pounds. Its eyes seemed to glow as the headlights of the car shone on it. The creature was not scared and tracked Lori's car as she drove away. In late December 1990, 11-year-old Heather Bowie was sledding with some friends near dusk when she claims she had an encounter with a strange creature. Her mother, Karen, recalls that Heather came home scared, saying she had seen what she initially thought was a large dog with silver-colored fur with brown patches. When the creature stood upright, she realized it wasn't a dog, and she and her friends fled as it began to follow them. It eventually stopped about halfway to her house before retreating into a cornfield. Russell Guest, one of Heather's friends, confirmed the story. In August 1992, Tom Brickta and his friend Chris Maxwell had gone to a wedding reception in the small community of Genesee Depot, located approximately 28 miles from Elkhorn. Chris was staying at Jellystone Campground near Fort Atkinson, and Tom was driving him there. There was a thick fog on the road, and as Tom was driving, he hit something. He thought he had hit a mailbox, so he backed up. After realizing there was no mailbox, he claims he saw a large, hairy creature with whitish-gray fur walking toward their vehicle. He had the car window open and said he could smell a distinctly foul odor, like a skunk. The creature allegedly reached out and scratched the side of his car before they drove off. Afterward, Tom reported the incident to the local police. In May of 2020, Lake Geneva resident Ron Rice traveled to the town of Lyons, less than 13 miles from Elkhorn, to deliver a load of fertilizer to a farm on Highway 36. While sitting in his truck in the farm's driveway after having completed the delivery, Ron looked to the side. He claims that he noticed a strange figure standing at the edge of the tree line, approximately 150 feet away, which he described as being nearly 7 feet tall and covered in coarse brown hair. The creature picked up an unidentifiable object off the ground and retreated into the foliage. So what exactly is the Beast of Bray Road? Let's examine the leading theories. The most mundane explanation is that the creature has been misidentified over the years, and people are simply seeing a large feral dog, a gray wolf, or perhaps an American black bear suffering from mange. After all, under poor lighting conditions or fear, even a regular animal might appear monstrous. While not commonly found in the southeastern part of the state, which is more developed and less forested than northern Wisconsin, gray wolves and black bears have occasionally been sighted in Walworth County and nearby areas. However, this doesn't explain the consistent reports of upright walking, nor does it account for some alleged encounters where eyewitnesses clearly described observing human-like behavior. The second theory is that the sightings are the result of hoaxes or possibly mass hysteria. The initial reports may have sparked a regional folklore that snowballed into some sort of shared delusion. But there's a problem with that. A number of the sightings go back decades, long before the media coverage, and it doesn't take into account the credibility of eyewitnesses who had absolutely nothing to gain by coming forward, many of whom didn't do so until years after the alleged sightings. More exotic explanations include the possibility of an undiscovered species. Some cryptozoologists propose that the creature could even be a surviving prehistoric animal, like Amphibian, often called a bear dog, which was a genus of large, carnivorous mammals that lived more than 5 million years ago. However, modern surveillance technology and extensive wildlife monitoring make this hypothesis extremely unlikely. Linda Godfrey passed away on November 27, 2022, at the age of 71. She had dedicated decades of her life to documenting these encounters with scientific rigor and journalistic integrity. Her approach was measured, neither dismissing witnesses nor making definitive claims about the beast's nature. Her famous quote encapsulates this perspective. Just because something sounds impossible doesn't mean it didn't happen. Her work transformed a local legend into a serious subject of cryptozoological study. Today, Elkhorn has embraced its cryptid celebrity status while maintaining respect for the mystery's deeper implications. Local shops sell beast-themed merchandise, and the town hosts an annual community event that features presentations outlining the local search for the creature, trail cam photos, footprint casts, and updates from researchers. But aside from the commercialization, new sightings continue to be reported, and the genuine fear and wonder in eyewitness accounts remain unchanged. The creature has become more than just a local legend. It's a reminder that even in our modern world, some mysteries resist simple explanations. The enduring legacy of the Beast of Bray Road challenges our understanding of what's possible in the natural world. Whether interpreted as a flesh-and-blood creature or a product of mass psychology, the phenomenon has left an indelible mark on Wisconsin's cultural landscape and continues to capture the imagination of those who hear its story. The quiet country road where it all began remains to this day, still drawing curious visitors who hope to glimpse something extraordinary in the shadows of America's heartland. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Echoes of the Unknown. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with fellow mystery lovers. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, And remember, sometimes even the strangest mysteries just need the right mind to solve them.